Hey guys, welcome into this segment from our full-length The Onside Kick podcast. In order to get the full podcast, go down to the description, go to Blog Talk Radio / The Onside Kick to download the full thing. Enjoy, everybody. But Mark, we're going to move on into our last discussion, and we are talking about the Jets, Jets. We're taking a look at the quarterback situation that the Jets have going on, and there was an article on ESPN, insider article, that basically they went through the one player for every single NFL team that needs to prove themselves this upcoming season. And the one for the Jets was, no surprise, Christian Hackenberg needs to step up. Is this finally the year that he is going to be like, you know what, this job is mine and I will take it? And I'll just pass the question on to you, Mark. Will Christian Hackenberg make strides in 2017?
No, but
no.
But it's the kind of thing, and actually kind of fun that we've talked about two Valentine babies on this podcast, Alshon Jeffrey and Christian Hackenberg.
Okay.
There's a fun fact for the day. 5 years apart from them. Anyways, all Christian Hackenberg needs to do is take one single stride, and he will have, made progress this year. Hackenberg has kind of become a joke in the NFL just because of the fact that his coaching staff didn't believe in him. There was a lot of reports about how he was nowhere near NFL ready, and he was not getting up to speed anytime in the near future. To where a lot of people were saying to the New York Jets, like,
what are you waiting for?
Yeah, do they need the guy still? Can they just get rid of him? Because he's not doing anything successful. Now, obviously, that would have been a little early to make that kind of a move. With that being said, I don't understand an article like that saying that Christian Hackenberg needs to take a step forward, because I'm sitting there saying this is a pretty even quarterback battle between Bryce Petty, Christian Hackenberg, and Josh McCown.
You think it's even across the board?
Well, as in the fact that anybody has the opportunity to start.
Okay. I disagree in that part, but go ahead.
But what I'm going to say is that walking into camp, they're saying, hey, one of you three is going to be our starting quarterback. We don't know which one. You figure it out, essentially.
You guys let us know which one of you guys wants to start, and we'll start that one.
Right? And they might as well. But to me, it's obvious that Josh McCown starts day one.
Exactly.
Because he's the only one that has any decent starting experience, who he's not even that great, but he's the one who is far and away the best option.
And that's why when you said, oh, yeah, it's pretty even coming in, I was looking like, really, Mark? Really? Like,
when it comes to the battle,
even?
Yeah.
To me, no. Because to me, it's Josh McCown is the guy who's going to start. He is the clear number one. And then it's basically, hey, Hackenberg and Bryce Petty, paper, scissors, rock for who wants to be number two. Which most likely I would put Petty. I mean, Hackenberg can prove me wrong. He can prove me wrong in the offseason. Go right ahead. I dare you. But I'm saying day one, it's going to be McCown, Petty, Hackenberg. That's the way the depth chart's going to go.
More fun facts. So McCown is 12 years older than Bryce Petty and 15 years older than Christian Hackenberg. Most NFL players don't play 12 years in the NFL, nonetheless 15. Not that Josh McCown played all those years. I mean, he was coaching high school football for a while.
Yeah.
But that is the age difference between these two quarterbacks. And that's why when you say, the clear winner is Josh McCown, the only thing where you need to pump the brakes a little bit is, do the New York Jets even want Josh McCown to play? Yes. I think they're sitting there thinking, we really want Bryce Petty or Christian Hackenberg to be the one playing. Now, they need to be good enough to do so, but we really don't want a 37-year-old quarterback with an injury history to be the guy actually going out there starting day one.
See, I am totally on the other side. I let McCown start, and I let the other two back up. The reason why is Josh McCown will go out there, and will he win you games? Yeah, he might win you a few. Like, he's a little bit of a, as Skip Bayless would say, a little bit of a gamer out there. He'll try to win you some games.
He'll try, but he probably won't be successful.
Let's be honest, with this team around him, I mean, yeah, he's got Matt Forte and Bilal Powell. Yeah, he's got Eric Decker. But for the most part on this team, he doesn't really have much around him, and this team isn't really a good team, especially offensively. Like I said, it's got a few weapons, but nothing really that puts a whole entire offense together. So I think even with Josh McCown out there, you're still a top 5 pick in the NFL draft next year, and then you can go ahead and draft your quarterback. And by starting McCown, it gives you we're bad enough to get the top 5 pick or the top 10 pick if he's like really good, but we're still the top 5 pick in the draft. And it gives the illusion that we want to try to win games because I feel like if they throw McCown out there, they can sell to the fans, we are trying to win games. If they throw Petty or Hackenberg out there, they are basically telling the fan base, we've given up and we are going to get Rosen,
disagree.
Darnold,
you drafted Bryce Petty, 3 years ago in the 4th round. I can understand that not being exciting, but Hackenberg's a 2nd-round pick. We were just talking about Kaiser and how Kaiser should be a day 1 starter.
Kaiser is different than Hackenberg.
But it's still a 2nd-round pick. Kaiser was what, 52 overall?
52.
Hackenberg's 51 overall.
So they're about the same.
Hackenberg should be at the same level as
not.
Kaiser.
But then that's the thing, he's not.
But I'm saying, when you're talking about the fans and what you're selling to the fans, the 51st overall pick should be something you can sell to the fans. Now, hold on.
Here's the difference.
Hold
We've
on.
seen
Let me
a
talk
year
about
of Hackenberg.
Yes. Well, actually, not really. He didn't
Not
play games.
in an NFL game, but we've seen him in an NFL system learning a playbook.
We did, and it wasn't that great.
Exactly.
It wasn't that great, but at the same time, we haven't seen him play games. So that does mean something.
Will we ever see him play games?
I don't know. I'm not.
That's the question.
I am not someone who can read the future.
That's the thing. If we never see him play games,
here's the point, though. You put Josh McCown out there. You're saying this team has no future. We need to get to next season where we can draft a quarterback. This is a wash. Sell your tickets now. Sell your season tickets. Don't come to our games. If you put a 22-year-old quarterback out there that you drafted 51 overall in the 2nd round, that's saying this might be hope. At the very least, you are selling hope that this young quarterback could be successful. Will it work? Me and you both agree that it's not going to work.
No, it's not going to work.
But at least you gave it a shot. At least you put somebody out there who you said, we think this guy could be the guy.
Maybe I'm giving the New York fans, though, a little bit of credit to where I feel like those New York fans, if you throw Hackenberg out, unless Hackenberg shows major strides this offseason.
Yeah, he's got a long ways to go.
And it's like, damn, man, put Hackenberg in there. He's been playing up. But if you're just sitting there going, you know what? We're going to sell him on hope. I think that New York fans are a little bit smarter than that. I mean, come on. They've been watching Nick basketball.
Well, I don't
in the Garden.
I'm not saying that
that
they're dumb and you're pulling the wool over their eyes, but you throw a 37-year-old quarterback who'll be 38 by the time an actual football game is played this year, including the preseason. You throw a 38-year-old quarterback out there, and your fans, who you just said are smart, and we both agree that they're smart fans in New York, are saying this team has no future because a 38-year-old quarterback is starting. This isn't Brett Favre, who gets to be successful, who gets to be good when he's 40. He's
not a legend.
Yeah, this is a guy who used to sell cars and coach high school football.
I just think for the Jets, the thing that they have to think about is because, let's be honest, all 3 of these quarterbacks are not, I'm going to say it now, are not the future for the New York Jets.
Most likely not.
They are going, whoever they start, McCown, Petty, or Hackenberg, any 3 of those is going to get them a top 5 or top 10 pick in the draft.
Most likely, yeah.
And if it's a top 5 pick, I am betting you that either Darnold, Allen, or even like Rosen, Jackson, whoever the 3rd quarterback is a New York Jet.
I'm willing to go so far right now to give you guys some hints, and there's a long way to go, but this is pick number 1 right now. New York Jets are the number 1 overall
So
pick.
Sam Darnold is a New York Jet.
I'm not willing to say that because I haven't watched college football.
I'm just saying, as of right now, I mean, that's everyone right now.
That
He
would
is
be the guy.
consensus number 1 pick, way too early style.
Way too early.
Yeah.
The quarterback X is what I will say.
So they're taking a quarterback with the 1st pick is what you're saying.
Yeah. But all it comes down to for me is when I look at this quarterback battle, none of these guys really should be a starting quarterback in the NFL. I don't know what the New York Jets are doing, but to me, if I am Jets management, if I am a Jets fan, I would much rather see a young guy get out there and see what they got. Because if Christian Hackenberg goes out there, throws 8 interceptions in 3 games, you can say, okay, bench him. Because I know what Josh McCown is. I don't know what Christian Hackenberg. I kind of have an idea of what Bryce Petty is because he went out there for, I think, 5 games last year. But let me see him again. Oh, he threw 7 interceptions again in these 5 games. Yeah, put him back out there. Josh McCown, okay, let him start now. Because you know what he is. He is the kind of safety blanket. Now, he says the safety blanket's probably going to play day 1 because the other guys aren't that great.
Well, and that's
but
the
at
thing
least
I
I'd
look
rather
at.
see something else.
And that's the thing I look at. And because the offseason's going to be key. Because I feel like unless Petty or Hackenberg show amazing skill, McCown's going to be the guy. And I have this feeling of why would you throw Hackenberg out there unless then this is the asterisk of unless he makes major strides. I'm saying it like that because I don't think he'll make major strides. So I think that he's not going to do anything special in the offseason. That's my big prediction. I know it's crazy, but I look at it and go, if you start Hackenberg and Petty to me is more on the McCown side. I could see you throwing Petty out there and still saying we're going to try to be competitive. Okay, cool.
I don't know. Not if you look at his stats last year.
Disregarding those, I'm just saying he is a more veteran quarterback than Hackenberg. I look at Hackenberg and I go,
about 2 years.
Why would you throw him out there and sell this hope of the future if when you're still going to get the number 1 pick, you're still going to take that quarterback, and it doesn't matter, then Hackenberg's gone.
But, I mean, okay, you're misunderstanding what hope is,
then you're selling them on Miss Hope, and you're misleading your
not.
fans.
You're not selling them on Miss Hope. You're selling them on there's hope. Hope cannot work out. I mean, you can say that this quarterback might be good. We don't know. Let's find out. That's hope. The hope is saying Christian Hackenberg is a quarterback that we drafted in the 2nd round.
And that's why
we think he might be good. Let's find out.
This hope that you're talking about, it ain't going to get, the only way it gets to the season is if we see that hope in the offseason.
Well, obviously.
We got to see it in the offseason.
Obviously, if he throws 10 interceptions in the preseason games, he's not going to start day 1.
And that's why the offseason is the most important for Hackenberg, because this is where we need to see the hope.
Yeah.
If we don't see that hope, then McCown
But what
starts.
I'm simply saying is what the Jets would rather have happen is that they can play one of these young quarterbacks. Because there's no reason to play Josh McCown. Josh McCown is a worthless play. Josh McCown is when you throw a pawn in front of somebody else's chess piece just so they'll take it. Because you want them to draw first blood.
I think he's a little bit better than that.
Josh McCown is nothing. He's about to be a 38-year-old quarterback who is almost guaranteed to get injured because that's what he does. Whether it's Bryce Petty or Christian Hackenberg that you're choosing to be number 2, they will play at some point in this season.
Well, let's be honest. The Jets are probably going to
all
have
3 of these quarterbacks are probably going to play.
Yeah.
And then some other guy that they picked up halfway through the season because these 2 young guys aren't very good and Josh McCown's going to get hurt. So I would much rather, as the Jets, and you're getting a little hung up on my hope analogy here, but I would much rather as the Jets find out what a young quarterback is about and say, at least I tried something.
I'm going to throw this question out there because they drafted Hackenberg.
Yep.
They drafted him right before Bowles' 2nd year, so it was before last season. A 10-6 year his first season, a 5-11 year last year. If this is another 5 or under year for Bowles and the Jets, do we start to hear the rumors of maybe it's time to get a new coaching staff for a new quarterback?
I don't think we hear the rumors. I think we see a new coach.
So you think he's getting? Do you think that if they get the number 1 pick, do you think Bowles is on that staff making the pick?
No.
Or is it he's fired and we're bringing in a new staff to work with this new quarterback.
Yeah, I would expect a new staff. And I think a big part of it, too, is you look at their draft in the first two picks, round 1, round 2, both safeties. Mm-hmm. You got a defensive coach out there who wants to shore up this defense. And I still say that defense is better than they look on paper.
That's why you notice how I didn't say anything about the defense. I spent most of my time on the offense.
And when you look at paper, there's parts of this defense that are pretty terrible. Mm-hmm. They gave up a lot of points last year. But, you have a defensive coach. If this defense continues to not be good, there's no reason for that defensive coach to be there anymore. That's why Lovie Smith got fired in Tampa Bay, because he was a defensive coach who couldn't make a defense good.
He also couldn't beat the Packers.
We're talking about Tampa Bay.
Oh, okay. I thought you were talking about with the Bears.
He was brought into Tampa because they had an already good defense, and he made it worse.
But the thing with that, and I'm just going to throw this in there, there was that little bit of, to me, I saw a little bit of an undertone of, hey, we have this young quarterback, worked really well with this offensive coordinator. Let's go with him as the head coach so that he can develop Jameis Winston.
I mean, that's a part of it too, but there's no doubt in anybody's mind that the fact that Lovie Smith, a defensive coach, made a defense worse is an issue. Bowles is here to make this defense as good as they used to be, and he hasn't done that yet. And he's tried, but he hasn't gotten it done yet.
And I'm looking at the contracts right now for the quarterbacks on this team. McCown, after this year, done off the books.
Probably retired.
Hackenberg will be here 2 more seasons. Petty's got 1 more year. So you're going to have Hackenberg and Petty. And to me, I look at this quarterback trio, and ideally, although I'm saying McCown's my guy right now, I'm looking at all 3 of them and going, is there anyone out there?
Do I have a 3-sided coin that I can flip?
Get someone from free? Hey, Michael Vick, you sure you want to retire? You sure you want to retire? I'll bring you back. You can play with the Jets. Might be a better option than the 38-year-old, I'll say, in McCown. They don't have a good situation at quarterback. No matter who they throw in there is not going to do anything. And going back to the original question of what strides does Hackenberg need to make in order to be named the starter, he needs to basically make major strides to where I don't think they need to be so big of strides. I don't think he can do it in one offseason. He
needs to get in a car and start driving.
Yes.
Those are the strides he needs to make.
Yes. He's basically, it's different. When you bring up Kaiser to Hackenberg and you're like, oh, they're drafted in the same round. The big thing that's different, and it was the key wording when we talked about Kaiser, is that they even said he's learning the playbook quickly. We've never heard that with Hackenberg, that he's picking things up quickly, that things are going smoothly.
But to be fair, he only had 1 year to do it.
It's been a bumpy road.
Most rookie quarterbacks don't do that in 1 year.
And I know Hackenberg, that's what you can say. Well, look at Aaron Rodgers. He had X amount of years.
I don't even need to put Aaron Rodgers into it.
To sit behind Brett Favre. And it's some of these quarterbacks do get to sit. Look at Kirk Cousins. Got to sit there
for a long time
under RG3 and then finally got his start, and boom, look at that. Now we're talking about him. We talked about him a week or 2 ago, and his contract and how he could be the highest paid quarterback with that franchise tender. So I'll say Christian Hackenberg hasn't been put into the most ideal of situations. I just don't think he's going to make the strides that he needs to make in order to win this job and be the starter for the Jets week 1.
Yeah, I don't think that he will either. I still believe that Josh McCown will be the quarterback week 1. But I also think when Josh McCown takes the field week 1, you can pretty much sit there and say, yeah, this season's a wash. If you got season tickets, I hope you already sold them. I hope you didn't buy any tickets. I hope you didn't buy any jerseys. I hope that you didn't get any special sports packages so you can watch these Jets games. Because if Josh McCown goes out there, he's good for maybe 4 or 5 games. He'll get hurt, and then you got these guys out there, and the season's a wash.
And I mean, any quarterback, though, that they have. What I said for McCown is true for Petty and Hackenberg. just because it's a new quarterback doesn't mean the weapons are different.
No.
You got Matt Forte and Eric Decker. Maybe
those are good.
Maybe Austin Seraphin-Jenkins, if he can like channel in what we thought he was going to be coming out of Washington, but not even ASJ.
I just think that like you put McCown out there, you're saying from the beginning, I know we're going to lose. It's like when a movie starts with the last scene and they're just showing you what's going to happen. And you know it's going to happen at the entire rest of the movie. That's what basically starting Josh McCown is. We know it's a lost season. Not that Hackenberg and Petty are that much different, but at least you had this slight little moment of hope of maybe this guy will be decent.
And that's where I'm on the other side of, I agree that either quarterback you throw out there, you still am starting with that final scene of, okay, the season's over. But I look at it as if you throw out Hackenberg, I'd look at it and go, well, the season's over. I'm not even going to watch because this young quarterback is not going to do anything.
No, the average NFL fan will watch a young quarterback.
I feel like if you throw out McCown, you can sell hey, we're going to throw out the veteran because we want to win games. We don't want to have put in front of you a development project. We want to put in front of you a guy that is going to give it his all to win games, to try to win games.
Who has, in his history, not really done that.
Well, let's be honest. You think Hackenberg and Petty would...
But that's the thing. Petty, you have an answer for. Hackenberg, you don't know. That's what I keep saying in this. Is maybe it's my marketing background, but you can sell Hackenberg because he's a question mark. You want to watch that game because you want to see what he is.
Maybe
we
that
know
first
what Josh
one,
McCown, but that's all you need. That's all you need.
But then he loses that first one and boom.
But that's not the issue. You can get somebody to watch one game and then hopefully Hackenberg is good. That's what I'm just saying is you can get the intrigue. I know what Josh McCown is. I'm not interested in watching Josh McCown.
What if he lays a dud that first game?
Who,
Hackenberg? What if he lays a dud that first game?
What if any of these guys lay a dud in the first game?
I'm saying like because the whole thing of like, oh, well, I can sell Hackenberg. Yeah. What if he lays a dud? Then how can you still sell him, or is it up?
You sell him as a young quarterback who needs opportunity. How many interceptions did Jameis Winston throw in his first game?
Jameis Winston is a little bit different than Christian Hackenberg.
But how many interceptions did he throw in his first game? It was a bad first game.
Jameis Winston was also a top 2 pick in the NFL draft. How many interceptions did
Peyton Manning throw in his first season?
Yet again, Peyton Manning was a top pick in the draft.
That's what I'm saying, though. I can sell it. I can tell somebody, okay, that was his first game. Give him a second game. And whether they watch or not is something different. But what I'm saying is there's the hope that it's a quarterback of the future. We're going to see if something goes on. You know, Deshaun Watson can go out there for the Texans and lay an egg. And at least there's the hope of, hey, maybe he's the quarterback of the future. Now, of course, with a first-round pick, you believe that he should be the quarterback of the future. You put a 38-year-old quarterback out there who has a history of losing, so much so that he was coaching high school football not that long ago. That doesn't show me much promise. I'm not excited to watch that game. I just had to sit there and watch Ryan Fitzpatrick play in, the last couple of years. As a Jets fan, I'm not excited for old quarterbacks right now. Give me something young. Give me something new.
Well, and the one thing I will say is your analogies or your comparisons, I'll say, of Manning and Winston, I think that's stretching a little bit.
I'm just saying that because even good quarterbacks have bad rookie years.
I'm saying,
bad rookie game.
And I'm looking at it from the fact of that's a stretch only because those are like top of the first round guys where even if they do lay an egg that first game, unless you're David Carr, Jameis Winston could have done anything that rookie season and he was still going to get that second year. Because he had that potential.
Well, that's not completely sure. I mean, you can't completely sell that. And Mike Glennon had a good season and then got benched.
Mike Glennon also didn't have
He got benched for Jameis Winston,
He also
but still
didn't have that great of a season coming into the NFL that Jameis Winston has.
No,
Jameis Winston
but he had a good NFL
two amazing seasons coming in, and the only quarterback he lost to that ended his season that year before was the guy who went directly behind him. And Marcus Mariota. The guy that I think that you could have maybe sold a little bit better is, and I'm looking at the stats right now to see how he played his first year, is Derek Carr.
But Derek Carr was good in his first year.
A second-round pick. He still had 12 interceptions. I know he had the 21 touchdowns and 3,000 yards, but he still had that 12 touchdowns. Yes,
but he
like
was
you
good
said,
in his first year.
He was really good.
All I'm saying, don't get hung up on the specific quarterback. All I'm saying is that a good quarterback can have bad games and can have a rough start. That's okay. Alex Smith, people will call him a good quarterback. That was a rough start for like 6 years. You know, you can have a good quarterback have a rough start. That's what I'm saying. For your questions to me was, what if Christian Hackenberg goes out for game 1 and has a bad game? My answer is that good quarterbacks have bad games,
and
especially when they're young.
And there's a big variable in this that I think will be the writing on the wall. And like you said, I like the Alex Smith one because he did have he was in the wrong system.
He had like 5 bad years.
Then Harbaugh came along, and it was like, whoa, Alex Smith kind of looked good. Oh, he's injured. And then Kaepernick took the job. However, the difference...
And now he's in a wonderful situation with Andy Reid.
The difference I'm going to say there is San Francisco, and even more so Kansas City, they don't have pressure. The Kansas City, the pressure from the city in Kansas City is different than New York. New York, you have one bad game, they're calling for your head.
They're calling for Tebow.
They're calling for your head. And that is going to be, to me, the writing on the wall for a Hackenberg, even if he plays this year.
Yeah.
One bad game.
But that's any of these guys.
And we're hearing that. And I think that is one of the things that's kind of a dark spot in the Jets is you got to have a guy. And I don't think, I'll be honest, Petty and McCown are not the guys either for it that can deal with that New York pressure.
The problem is
I don't even think Bowles is the
situation,
coach that can deal with that New York pressure.
No. The problem for any of these is the fun little game of any team in the NFL, who's the best quarterback on that team? The backup quarterback. Because the fans are going to sit there no matter what happens is play the backup. Aaron Rodgers threw one interception. You better play the backup. Put Hundley in there. I'm just making. I mean, don't. It's a joke. Don't overthink it.
I was going to say they did play the backup. He threw 7 touchdowns. Right? Got a huge contract from the Seahawks.
Put Flynn in
and then they cut him.
Right. So it's just
that happened, Mark.
That's just what happens. Is you throw an interception and they're saying put Tebow in. Put him in, please. And in New York, it's, of course, going to be terrible. Josh McCown has a bad game. Bryce Petty has a bad game. Hackenberg has a bad game. We're calling for quarterback number 2. This is pretty much the reason why they are my number 1 overall pick next year.
I think will happen is they will be I'm going to say top 5 pick right now because the Browns could still get the number 1 pick. They're still my favorite to get the number 1 pick every single year. I think the Jets will be.
Browns have a decent team.
I'll say this: the Jets will be a top 3 pick in the NFL draft next year. I will say McCown starts. All 3 quarterbacks play this season. Hackenberg is the last to start, and he doesn't have that great of an end of the year. And we're looking for the Jets to draft a quarterback in 2018.
To be fair, Hackenberg could get out there, or Petty can get out there and throw for 3,000 yards, and they'll still draft a quarterback in the first round.
Because they're probably, if they have a dud season, like you said, they might even fire Todd Bowles and get a new staff in to work with the quarterback. But before I wrap everything up, any final thoughts on this? More so, this was the most heated segment for the onside kick today. Any final thoughts on the Jets?
Because Ricky likes 38-year-old quarterbacks for some reason.
Hey, I'll take Josh McCown over Christian Hackenberg. That's all I'm saying.
I would too, but I'm talking about I like it. Yeah, if I know I'm going to lose no matter what, and I know I'm probably going to at most win 2 games. Let me see the rookie.
Your team has a quarterback though that has a lot more hope than Hackenberg. Trubisky has a lot more hope than Hackenberg.
Yeah, some would have said he was the number 1 quarterback in the draft. Yeah, and even so, let me see what the rookie's got. You know, that's just all I say. When you got a young quarterback, I want to see what he's got. So, my last notes on the Jets. Sorry, Jets fans. I feel like we pissed a lot of you guys off because we pretty much trashed your team, except for the one time that I said, Eric Decker and Matt Forte, those are good.
And you mentioned the defense was good on paper.
Yep. They're better on the field than they are on paper.
Okay.
Their stats aren't amazing, but they play pretty decently. They gave up one of the most amounts of points
You would
in
think
the NFL.
you would think that the coaching staff is a defensive staff.
You would
think that.
You would think. Maybe not. Might not be the case in 2018. But Jets fans, we were a little hard on you guys today. So I hope you guys don't hate us too much. And maybe you guys don't watch the season preview when I probably say that you guys win 2 games. I don't know. Just a thought. But watch it anyways.
But this is where we're going to pose the question on to you guys. What do you guys think? Is Hackenberg going to make strides? That was the original question. Is Hackenberg going to make strides? What strides does he need to make this offseason to win the job this offseason? And what do you think just overall for this quarterback situation as the camera dies and I'm doing this with the logo up there? Tell us down below what you guys think. But thank you guys for listening and watching the Onside Kick today. It was great to have you guys along for the ride. I'm at Ricky Widmer. Mark is at the Mark Weber with 2 E's. Most Valuable Podcast is at Most Valuable Pod. Go check out patreon.com/Most Valuable Podcast to help the channel other than hitting that like and subscribe button. I want to thank you guys one last time for listening. And as always, have a good day, everybody. Well, I hope you guys enjoyed that segment from the Onside Kick. If you think the fun stops there, you're wrong, because click the video right over here. What are you thinking? Come on. Click it. It's going to go away. It's going to go away. Bye, everybody.